Our Vegas Fantasy, Episode 5, Week 3 of the 2018 NFL season. Our Vegas Fantasy is not what you think. Hey, that's our high-tech intro. Welcome to Our Vegas Fantasy. My name's Kenny Davidsen. I'm here with my great friend, Christina Shaw.
Hi, Kenny.
How are you, Christina?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right. What are we? We're about to start week 3, so in my 24 leagues.
How'd you do?
12 and 12 again.
Again?
Again.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, not good enough. But you know, when you play as many leagues, this is what's going to happen. But so my challenge is to fix the bad teams and kind of let the good teams roll. Thankfully, the waiver wire is quite fruitful. So
what is your strategy going forward with your 0-2 teams?
I got one team that is barren. I have 2 assets. I have Beckham, Juju, and I have Dalvin Cook. But Dalvin Cook hasn't been as good as we thought. And I don't have an RB2. I played Buck Allen as my RB2 in that league. Buck Allen.
Jeez.
And he actually got me 15 points.
Well, that's
good. Very good. But then I started Crowder in my flex, and he is nothing. And I didn't sit anybody that I regret sitting. That's how bad that team is. So I have to just... My strategy is I'm offering Juju around to try to get a couple of starters for him, but nobody's biting right now. But maybe at the end of week 3, I could do that. I'm also going to be placing claims and trying to build my team through the waiver wire and see what happens. But like I said, the waiver wire is fruitful. We're going to get to it. So let's start with the fantasy highs. Ryan Fitzpatrick. This one is for engineer Ken Bulkey. Oh, Fitzmagic. You know, he's gonna suck after week 4. That didn't rhyme. Yes. But hey, I thought I put it in anyway.
That was great, Kenny.
Thank you. That's okay. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is unbelievable. Hall of Famer. No. But anyway.
No,
but he's been great. He just destroyed your Eagles this past week. Gets the Steelers on Monday night. You know, the thing is, he's got major weapons.
Sure does.
Evans is off to a great start. You know, it's nice when Mike Evans doesn't have a hammy that he's dealing with.
I love Mike Evans. I know.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
But he's always had little nagging
tweaks.
injuries and everything.
Yep.
But he's healthy and he's playing great. Deshaun Jackson, who's I thought he's 90 years old, but there he is, right?
What did I say last week? I said
wasn't gonna play.
If he was going to play, he was going to go off.
And
look what I knew.
Know what?
I knew it. I should have picked him up and I should have played him because I knew it.
And you know, start your Bucks against the Steelers on Monday night if you've got Bucks. And then the other one's Chris Godwin, who we're going to get to, who's a nice little receiver there. So Fitzmagic, and he's off to a great start. Another great quarterback in Kansas City. This guy is the real deal. Patrick Mahomes destroyed the Steelers.
10 touchdowns in 2 games.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he keeps that up?
He won't keep that up.
He won't.
He's going to do. He's for real. This guy is absolutely for real. He's got a great arm. He's got great weapons. And a coach in Andy Reid
who loves to throw.
Likes to throw the ball.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's negatively affecting Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was a first-round pick. And there's nothing wrong with Kareem Hunt, but he's not getting the volume that he normally gets. The offense has changed. That's a little concerning this year. But that looks like a good team. They have no defense, so they're going to be scoring 30 points a week in order to win the game. That's a good team.
Do you have him anywhere?
Offense. I have Mahomes in a couple places. I have Mahomes in a very deep Superflex league, and that was a good pick for me. And that's one of my better teams. Absolutely, I like Mahomes. You know, the Chief took Mahomes in our New York league, and he waited till like the 12th round. He's the last person to take a quarterback, and he's got the best team in the league.
Does he just have Mahomes?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he has a backup, but Mahomes is this guy. He's also a Chiefs fan, so he's giddy on so many levels.
Aww.
So yeah, so that's a shout out to the Chief. one of the great commissioner names you'll ever meet. He's the Chief. He's one of the best players I've ever played against. So let's go to wide receiver. Michael Thomas, once again, looking like the best wide receiver in fantasy right off the bat. Off to a great start. Just destroyed the Cleveland Browns this past week. He looks very good. Let's also go to Juju Smith-Schuster and his quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger.
Juju!
Killing it. Juju looks... Another guy that looks like he's going to border on first-round value this year.
Yep, 2 100-yard games, better than Brown. Who would have thought this was going to happen?
Brown's nursing an injury, and now all this stuff's coming out about Antonio. He didn't show up at practice Monday. This tweet that got very misinterpreted. It
wasn't called for. Why did he have to do that?
No, because he was upset with the Steelers reporter that was knocking him, like saying, "Hey, if you didn't bend, you wouldn't be great," and that's ridiculous. Antonio Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the history of football, and Antonio Brown, if he's healthy, he'll be fine. Now, what's going on with the Steelers? I don't know, but their defense is so bad that they're going to score a lot of points this year. So if you have Juju, you've struck gold.
Yeah, but Juju. Ben, I don't know. He's going to be very boom or bust this week.
Ben stinks on the road and is good at home. That's been the case for at least 4 years now. But Ben's one of those guys I never own in fantasy. I just don't want to deal with his issues.
I agree.
But Juju and obviously Antonio Brown will be fine. James, don't call me Chris Connor, will be just fine as well. Also, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings wide receivers, both Diggs and Thielen. So we had a segment a couple weeks ago. Would you rather have Stephon Diggs? Would you rather have Adam Thielen? Frankly, you want both.
Yeah.
They're both fantastic.
I'm so glad they're both doing equally as well. I'm so glad it's not, just Diggs or just Thielen.
And that has a lot to do with Cousins. Cousins is for real. I think the Viking defense is not quite as good as we think that they are. And I think they're going to have to score points in order to win. Which
I am fine with because I got all three of those receivers. Yeah. Actually, I lied. I don't have Thielen, but I have Kirk Cousins. And
you have Cousins as your quarterback, and you've got Diggs. Diggs is an injury risk. Gets hurt every year, so let's hope he stays healthy. Rudolph had a good game this past week. Bad in week 1, but that's probably going to be more up and down with them. Now
that's how he always is.
It's negatively affecting their running game. Dalvin Cook has not returned running back 1 value so far.
And I have Cook as well. So those are the 3 I have.
I have Cook as my RB1 in a couple leagues. It's concerning. And yes, you've got him too. So Cook is kind of a wait and see, and he's also dealing with a hammy issue. So that's a wait and see. But both Vikings wide receivers off to a great start.
That whole team I love.
I do too.
I just like the team. I like everybody on it. I just think they're a great team.
I like Cousins.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah. No, they're good. Explosive. Very good. Melvin Gordon.
He takes a lot of hard hits, man.
Does he?
Yes.
Now, obviously they did well. They played the Bills this past week, so they were fine. I believe they get the Rams this week, so I think we have a little more of a wait and see with the Chargers. But Melvin Gordon, again, looks terrific. And he was a guy I was not high on in the first round, but boy, he's a stud.
I'm just worried about him lasting the way he plays.
I am too. I'm considering the one league that I have Gordon to trade for Ekeler. To actually overpay to get Ekeler just to get the
in case.
Or Eckler. What
Eckler.
Is it Eckler? I don't know.
I would pick up Eckler if you have Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I would. I mean, you're not going to get him on waivers, but you can maybe offer the guy that he's owned just about everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's owned because he's actually returning. Eckler is producing. Even with Gordon out there, Eckler is like the Chris Thompson of that team. He's getting a lot of plays, catching a lot of balls. So I don't think he's available, but you might want to, if you have Gordon, you might want to get Eckler as an insurance policy.
Yep.
Speaking of Chris Thompson, how good a start is he off to?
Jeez, PPR monster.
Yeah. He's terrific.
Love
and
it.
He said he wasn't going to be 100% until 3/4 of the way through the season. If this is not 100%, dude.
Can't wait to see what it's going to be like.
Unbelievable.
But who's the guy, though, in Washington? Is it Thompson or is it Adrian Peterson?
It's two-headed.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson's going to run the ball. Chris Thompson's going to catch the ball. Now, if AP doesn't catch the ball, they don't throw to him, his value is incredibly limited. He's going to be touchdown dependent. If he catches a couple balls like he did in week 1, he's going to score. He'll give you some points. But last week he was strictly a runner.
Right.
He had a pedestrian day. They all stunk against Indianapolis. Thompson's going to be good every week though, especially in PPR league. Thompson's going to be a guy you want. If you got him in the 7th or 8th round, congratulations. If he stays healthy, you struck gold there.
I like him way better than AP, honestly.
And the last big producer was Christian McCaffrey, who was there were a lot of big producers, but McCaffrey had a big week too. He wasn't good in week 1, very good in week 2. A lot of people drafted him very early in the 2nd round. Some people drafted him in the late 1st round because they were hard up to get running backs. McCaffrey's going to be fine, and he had a good week for you this week.
He's a clear number 1 target with Olsen out, and it's a great little thing he's got going on there.
Absolutely. And now for the reverse. Who crapped the bed? Who crapped the bed? Did you crap the bed? Did I crap the bed? Did he crap the bed? We all want to know who crapped the bed. Crap the bed! Yes, who crapped the bed?
I didn't know we had a new song this week.
We have a new song. It's the Crap the Bed song. Crap the bed is one of my favorite fantasy terms. I think it's a term for other things in life, but in fantasy, it's just the most wonderful term that has ever existed. So who crapped the bed?
David Johnson.
David
crapped
Johnson
the bed.
is crapping the bed.
All over the bed. We need bleach.
That is the most putrid offense.
The Cardinals are awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
They need to, for one, it's time to bench Bradford.
Yes.
I don't know if Rosen's ready or not. That's the problem. David Johnson is a pass-catching back, and they're not throwing him the ball. They're using him strictly as an interior runner that kills his value in fantasy, but it's also not using him properly in football. Never mind fantasy. In football, he's an all-purpose back. Screen pass to the guy, for goodness sake.
Do you think this back injury is affecting him?
No, I don't think this is an injury thing. I think this is a putrid offense team and a team that dearly misses Bruce Arians, big time.
He hasn't reached 50 yards in 2 games.
No.
That's so
and he
sad.
scored a touchdown in week 1 that saved his value, but no, he's not been good.
But you have to keep playing him.
Yeah,
that's the sad thing.
I still think he's a buy low candidate. I think if you have David Johnson owner, I've got him in 4 leagues, and obviously those leagues aren't doing so hot. If you've got a David Johnson owner who's frustrated, make him an offer. I still think the guy is, listen, the guy's all-world talent if they figure it out. And if they play teams that are not as good defensively as the teams that they played. I mean, they play the Rams this week. They're not gonna score much on the Rams.
Right.
But David Johnson, look, keep the faith. It's just a matter of them using him right, and he'll be fine. I think he looks good. It's not the issue. How about the Titans backfield? We're going to put both of them on the crap in the bag this week because Deion Lewis, who I was very high on this week, he did nothing. Didn't catch any passes. And Derrick Henry just plain stinks.
Yeah, Lewis had a great game week 1. Then I put him in week 2, and he craps the bed.
Yes.
Womp, womp, womp.
Crap the bed. And Derrick Henry just flat out no good.
Same thing as Johnson. 56 yards in 2 games. Both games.
He's touchdown dependent, and he doesn't catch the ball. So, again, in standard leagues, that's not terrible. But in a PPR league, which most people are playing, or even a half-point PPR, which is now considered the standard
normal
in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry's got very little value in a league like this.
I have them both in one league, and the first week I played Henry, and the second week I played Lewis. And now I'm just like, I don't even know. I think I'm going to roll with Lewis. I trust him a little bit more.
I'd roll with Lewis, I think. But now, look, Lewis gets hurt. Henry's going to be good.
Right, so it's good to have both of them.
It's nice to have both. But, yeah, that's a frustrating situation, and Tennessee doesn't look very good either. Mariota's hurt. All kinds of issues. How about Odell Beckham Jr.?
Eli's just playing so bad. Their offensive line is so bad. It's just a slew of bad instances for Beckham.
Yeah. Beckham will have his games. If week 1 he was fine, it's all Eli dependent, and it's all offensive line dependent. That's one of the worst offensive lines in football, maybe next to the Seahawks.
Yep.
They're as bad as you get. So Odell's going to have up and down games this year because of this. He's not going to get the ball. And Sterling Shepard, by the way, he's invisible. But, there's just not too many mouths to feed in that offense now with Barkley catching as many passes as he caught.
Barkley was so fun to watch on Sunday night, man. I remember you telling us about him, our first episode.
Yeah, no, Barkley is
all-world talent.
All-world talent. Yeah. Barkley is for real. But they stink.
Yeah.
So
that game was hard to watch on Sunday.
It was one of the worst games of the week.
Oh, hard to watch.
And offense this year is way up. Like every game, I believe, had 30 points in it, at least. So there was, that doesn't seem like as much of a benchmark, but when you realize that every game did, and how many games actually had 50 points in it this week, offense is way up. And to watch Dallas and the Giants
on prime time,
because Dallas doesn't look good either. Dallas won that game, but Dallas is not going to win many games. Sorry, Thomas, but they're not going to win many games this year.
I'm not sorry, Thomas.
Yeah, no,
Go Eagles.
Yeah, whatever. I thought the Giants would be much better, and sigh.
Sorry, Kenny.
Yeah, thanks. This is a rare one. He won't show up on the crap the bad list this week, but most weeks. But he did this week. Gronk.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He always has up and down weeks like that. Is the thing with Gronk.
That was a particularly bad one. But again, it's Jacksonville. Now, New England, we're going to talk about what they've done to change that offense, and their offense might have just gone from to. Their offense is always good, but there were questions at wide receiver, but we think that that's changed, and we'll get into that a little later.
Yeah.
And the last one who crapped the bed, and that's also, we were just talking about the bad offensive line, Russell Wilson.
He'll bounce back.
He'll be fine. He'll score a lot of points most weeks because he's going to have to, because they're not a very good team, and they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So actually, I think Russell Wilson will be fine. If you were in a league, now Chris and I are in a New York league where a quarterback loses a point for a sack. Russell Wilson in a league like that is no good because he's going to get sacked a lot this year.
Do you have Russell Wilson anywhere?
I have him in one league. I wanted him in one league, and I reached for him in one league. That's the one few early quarterback pick I made that wasn't a super flex league. I'm fine with him. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He also needs Baldwin back.
That's hurting him.
Yeah,
as well.
He needs Baldwin. Baldwin is and if you're a Baldwin owner and he's out for a couple weeks, be patient, stash him, because when he comes back, he is the guy.
I love
Lockett
him.
is decent, but he's not a number one.
No.
Brandon Marshall is 90 years old.
I still like Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall was a great football player. He's past his prime.
Yeah.
But Baldwin, when he gets healthy, is going to be the guy there. One thing to point out, I was looking, because, we were so heavy on running backs in the draft this year. There were drafts that we did where running backs were taken 10 out of the first 12 picks. And running backs were flying off the board. Well, here's a stat for you guys. In a PPR league, there are right now 29 wide receivers averaging over 15 points in a PPR league. And there are only 14 running backs averaging over 15 points. This is reversed from the last 2 years where the running backs were destroying the league. They were doing great. What does this mean? What it means is, in your flex spot now,
Start putting wide receivers
in. I was almost always consistently saying, no, it's always running back in a flex, always running back. And in a standard league, it's a little different because standard league is so touchdown dependent. You have to go with a guy that's got the role as opposed to a guy that you don't know has the role. But with wide receivers getting the ball and quarterback play being so good this early in the season, now things change. But right now, quarterback play is good. Put your wide receivers in a flex. If you've got questions about a wide receiver or a running back, you may have Deion Lewis as your flex, and you might have Emmanuel Sanders as an option. You might want to start Emmanuel Sanders over Deion Lewis.
I agree.
Emmanuel Sanders looks great. Kenny Golladay, we're going to get into him later on. He's looking like a breakout candidate this year. Chris's team in our Vegas league is Golladay in, by the way.
I love Kenny Golladay. I loved him last year too. That's why I kept the name both years because I like him.
In more than one league?
No, I only got him in the one league. I had to reach for him a little bit because a lot of people were going kind of high on him.
That looks like a good reach. He looks pretty damn good.
Oh, I know. He's great.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep my team name the same, so I said, I'm going to grab for him.
There are a lot of teams this year where 3 wide receivers are viable. Detroit Lions with Jones, Tate, Golladay. The Rams, Cooks, Woods, Kupp. You can probably put the Patriots in there in a little bit too. I mean, sooner or later. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, viable. Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. It's a major wide receiver year to start this season. I hope it lasts.
I do too. It makes it more fun.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Football, the games have been really good because there's been a lot of offense. I don't care what people say. Offense sells.
Yeah,
I don't want to see defense. I don't mind good defense, but last year we saw nothing but inept quarterback play because there was so many backups, so many people got hurt. It just wasn't as fun to watch. This year, the league is fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's a lot good going on there. But yeah, start your wide receivers. Let's go to the waiver wire. I have no song. That was a tease.
You scared me. I'm like, am I on?
No, not yet. That was just a tease. So, waiver wire. There are a few good pickups this week. We mentioned, we'll start at the top of the list. So, Joe Mixon out for 2 weeks. Giovanni Bernard's out there. Are you picking Giovanni Bernard up, Chris?
He is my number 1 waiver wire pick this week.
Okay.
Yes, for sure. Mixon has this surgery going on, and they say 2 weeks, but Who do you know who's having surgery on their knee that's going to be back in 2 weeks?
Good point.
I don't know. I don't buy it. I'm going to say at least 3 weeks, if not 4. Obviously, if he comes back, you play him, take Bernard off, but Giovanni Bernard is a good pickup. Play him the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I think here's the thing. You know, I hate using waiver priority or a lot of a fab budget on a guy that isn't going to be there for the rest of the season. But look, if you're desperate, like the one team I was talking about where I'm desperate, yeah, I'm using it on Giovanni Bernard. There's no question.
He's going to play, and he's going to play a lot.
But on a league where you're good, if you're 2-0 and you're not starving at running back, would you pick up Giovanni Bernard, or would you maybe pick up our next guy that we're going to talk about, Chris Godwin?
I actually picked up Chris Godwin last week.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Good pickup. Very nice.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Chris Godwin, he looks like a deal. Now, I actually, this is going to sound crazy, in fantasy, I'd rather have Godwin over Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson, historically, fades. He has a good week.
And a bad week.
And then not only a bad week, but week 3 has nothing. Like he's not his bad week is 5 points.
Yeah.
I think Godwin, who has seen the field more consistently than Deshaun Jackson, it looks like Godwin's got a better floor. I don't know if he has the ceiling that Deshaun has, but I think Godwin is going to get you 10 points on a consistent basis every week.
And he's younger, and he's healthy.
And Deshaun Jackson, I think, is still going to be 25 or 3. So if you want to put up with the volatility of Deshaun Jackson, then so be it. But I think I'd rather have Godwin, who's going to be a lot more consistent this year.
I agree.
And obviously, if you have Mike Evans, well, then you did just fine.
Yes, I sure did.
At least you had him a lot last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
I had him a lot last year, too.
This year, I only got him once.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was worried I wasn't high on him this year.
How can you not be?
Because he's let you down last year.
Yeah.
Recency bias. Right?
Like Keenan Allen.
Well, yeah, there you go, right? Yeah, you know how it feels.
Yeah, oh, trust me, I know.
We talked about this guy last week, Geronimo Allison. Now, I mentioned him on the waiver wire again this week because he's still only owned in a Yahoo league in 38%, which means he's out there.
Well, he's only considered the 4th option in Green Bay. Let's be honest here.
4th?
4th. Do you not agree with that?
I don't quite agree with that. I don't know if Cobb is a consistent 3rd option, and I don't know if Graham is a consistent 3rd option. Graham got a lot of play this week. Obviously, Devontae is Devontae. He's the guy.
Right.
I think Allison is going to do better most weeks than we think. I'm not high on Cobb. Cobb looked great in week 1, but he also broke a big play.
Which got him a lot of points. Yeah. How would you rank them, though? Adams.
See, Adams is a clear 1.
Right.
I think the other 3... Now, look, we can't put Graham in there because Graham's a tight end. I think Allison and Cobb are going to flip-flop. I don't think there's going to be a consistent guy there. I think it's going to be Cobb 1 week, Allison another week, Cobb 1 week, and Allison another week. But here's the thing. Cobb gets hurt a lot. Allison is going to have weeks where he's going to be very important. I would highly recommend going to get Geronimo Allison.
He's averaging 51.5 snaps and 7 targets per game, which is pretty good considering.
That's very good.
Yeah. Considering all the targets that they have on that team, it's good numbers.
I agree. I like him. Here's a good question. We've talked many times about tight end being a cesspool. But there are 2 tight ends that we're gonna ask about. Austin Hooper from the Atlanta Falcons. Seems a little red zone dependent. And that might be a good thing because Sarkisian needs a red zone option to throw to. And Hooper was it this week. Are you picking up Austin Hooper, Chris?
If I needed a tight end, I would. I don't necessarily need a tight end in any of my leagues, but I mean, upcoming for Hooper is a Saints D that has allowed 663 passing yards during the first 2 games this year. So if you need a tight end, that's a good option. It's a good streamer tight end for you to get.
There's going to be a lot of points in the Falcons-Saints game this week.
Yeah.
I think if you that's when it'd be one of those games where start him if you got him. Yeah. Hooper's going to be up and down every week. I just think, but that's I think the nature of the tight end position. I mean, right now the only ones that have produced ridiculously well, Ertz produces every week. But Kelsey was bad week 1, good week 2. Gronk was good week 1, bad week 2. Ingram was bad week 1, good week 2. Rudolph, bad week 1, good week 2.
Yep.
Graham, bad week 1, good week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Walker and Olsen are out for Walker's out for the year. Olsen's out for 6-7 weeks. Tight ends are scarce.
He's a good pickup this week.
I think he's a good pickup this week. How about Jesse James? Tight end in Pittsburgh.
Also a good streaming tight end.
Yeah. And then another waiver wire pickup, Buck Allen for the Baltimore Ravens. What do you say, Chris?
Not necessarily a player for me. I know he did pretty good for you this week.
He did?
His role in the red zone at a receiver makes him a nice PPR flex.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it for me. I'm not really too crazy about Buck Allen.
I'm not crazy about him either. I think, but he might need him.
Yeah,
but
if you
I'm
need
not
him,
crazy about him.
No.
I have him. I picked him up in one league, but I'm not confident with it.
You were texting me. I can't believe I picked up Buck Allen and it's actually working.
I know, I did.
And started him. Picked him up and started him.
Yep, and I had a nice little lead after Thursday night. And where did that lead go? Down the tubes.
Sorry,
Jamison
Kenny.
Crowder, where are you? Jeez. So, news and notes for this week. Biggest news has to be Josh Gordon being traded to the New England Patriots. Will he become the next Randy Moss in New England, or will he just fizz out?
I think he's going to be good. I don't know. I mean, as a Gordon owner, that he's on my bench, I'd rather Brady be thrown to him than Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I think that he's got that going for him. I'm happy about it. Let's see what happens, basically. That's what we're going to have to see.
I'm rooting for Josh Gordon.
I am.
I really am. I would love for him to go to New England and be ridiculously great, as much as I hate the Patriots. I would love to see it. And now think about it. This is a team that was barren at wide receiver. They have Gordon, Hogan, and Edelman's coming back in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, that looks not so bad. And it's Brady. You knew they were going to figure it out sooner or later.
Yeah.
So how do you like that? Josh Gordon for a 5th-round pick.
The Patriots aren't going to bring a player on the team if it isn't going to help their team.
No.
So they're obviously doing it for a reason, and I hope it works out for him.
Belichick likes reclamation projects. Like he's okay with it. Like he'll take a guy that's got a bit of an attitude issue or whatever. I don't think Josh Gordon's an attitude thing. It's an addiction issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm highly rooting for him. I hope it works out for him.
Did you pick him up anywhere?
One league he fell far enough that I was like, what the heck? I'll take a chance on him.
That's what I did too.
Yeah, you have him in the 10-team league that we're in.
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
Hold on to him, see what happens, and take it from there.
Right. I wouldn't, I'm not spending for him. If somebody is going to offer you, overpay for you, if you own Gordon and somebody's going to offer, overpay for a trade for him, I consider it. But I think it's good to have him. I wouldn't overpay for him. I wouldn't, if he's there, let him sit for a week, see what happens. He may end up being great. You never know.
Never know.
Yeah. Le'Veon Bell, nowhere in sight.
He's having a grand old vacation in Miami.
Yeah.
He's going to nightclubs, riding jet skis. He's living the life.
If you drafted Le'Veon Bell, I hope you have Mr. James Conner.
Aww. Conner had a pretty good game this week too.
Not bad. He's
not as good as week 1.
No, he doesn't run as well as Bell, but who does?
Well.
But Pittsburgh still finds a way to get RB1 value out of their running backs, but Pittsburgh's a mess. They got some problems on their team right now.
They sure do.
They sure do. So Leonard Fournette might be back this week. I don't know if you have TJ Yeldon. He disappointed you this past week. Leonard Fournette, 1st-round pick for a lot of people. I was high on Fournette, but he's chronically hurt. I'm a little nervous about that for sure. Not happy about that. But obviously, if he plays this week, you start him. They're playing Tennessee. Tennessee's not very good.
Good matchup.
It's a good matchup. Jay Ajayi today just popped up in the injury report. Might not play this week. If you have Corey Clement, start him.
That should have been on our waiver wire. Corey Clement. Corey Clement.
Let's go back to him for a second. Let's go back to waiver wires. Are you picking up Corey Clement?
I would pick up Corey Clement over Buck Allen.
I agree with you. 100%. I absolutely would. I think Clement, not only that, Clement seems to have a role regardless. Sproles is always hurt. And Jai's always hurt. So Clement, yeah.
Now, if they're all three of them are in, I wouldn't start Clement, but definitely with Ajayi and Sproles not feeling so hot and or out, pick them up, put them in.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. But Ajayi in the injury report, so another thing to deal with that. That's going to be fun. We talked about Joe Mixon already. Devonta Freeman out, and they don't know when he's coming back. Hope you have Tevin Coleman.
He might miss multiple games. I have him, actually.
You've got Tevin Coleman in one league.
Yep.
I know. I saw that.
I'm going to put him in this week.
You sure are. Tevin Coleman's an RB1. And especially against the Saints this week. Have fun with that.
Yep, that's going to be great.
So, but Devonta Freeman is going to cause you headaches if you spend a second-round pick on him. Ooh, not looking good there.
What about Wentz? You playing Wentz this week?
Yes. I don't think Doug Peterson would put him in there if he wasn't ready. So I'm starting him.
He's going to have some rust to shake off, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm starting him. I don't worry about Wentz. Wentz is uber talented. He's going to seriously upgrade that offense.
And I'm going to be in Philly on Sunday, and it is going to be so blissful to watch my Eagles and Wentz in Philly.
And who are they playing this week?
The Colts.
Fun. You get Andrew Luck, too.
I know.
Nice.
It's going to be a great game. Get to watch with my dad, and it's going to be great.
I have a feeling there are going to be a lot of points in that game. Well, I mean, the Eagles defense is really good, so I'll be a little worried about Indianapolis, but I think Indianapolis will be playing from behind. So there might be some serious points in that game.
It's going to be fun.
That'd be really fun. Have fun at that game. Yeah. Larry Fitzgerald popped up in the injury report. They expect him to play this week, but you don't know.
I need to see a strong game from him before trusting him.
Yeah. If you drafted him in the 3rd round or the 4th round, and he hasn't done that yet. No, I mean,
I didn't take him anywhere, but if I did, I wouldn't be playing him unless he has a great game. Then I'd sit on him a little bit.
I agree. I consider benching him this week. I'm nervous about that pick for sure. I have him in a couple of leagues. I actually didn't get him. So, in 24 leagues, I think the first 19 leagues I didn't get him once, and then I kind of made a point. I wanted him in a couple of leagues because of Fitzgerald. The problem also is that offense is so bad.
And he's so old.
90 years old. How many 90-year-old players are there in the NFL?
So many.
Oh, my God. Larry Fitzgerald. Dalvin Cook popped up in the injury report. Claims it's cramping. They said it was a hamstring. We don't know. Check out. Make sure you get news on the Vikings if Dalvin Cook's going to play this week. Obviously, Latavius Murray is a start if Cook doesn't go.
He does go. He does have a good matchup with the Bills.
They warned us that Cook was going to be eased in this year, and it's showing because he's not returning running back 1 value at all. He might eventually. The guy, you watch the guy run. He's terrific. But, a little worried about him. I have him in several leagues. You've got him in a league.
I'm not worried about him.
All right.
I think he'll be fine. He's got a good matchup this week, so I think he's going to be fine. Play him.
Yeah.
Have confidence.
Yeah. Vikings, Bills. By the way, if you have a survivor pool, I think the Vikings are a pretty obvious pick this week because the Bills are garbage.
Horrible.
They're garbage. I saw a little bit of Josh Allen. He's talented. He's not accurate, but he's built. He looks like a quarterback. Eli had accuracy issues his first 2 years, and he figured it out and became a nice quarterback. I hope Allen figures it out.
He will. He's young.
I hope so. He's young. I mean, he's raw. He's certainly an upgrade from Nathan Peterman, and they need to start him every week. Now, this week against the Vikings, good luck. I just said that the Vikings were overrated defensively. Let's watch Allen shred them. I don't think he will, but let's just, just because we're talking about it, just because it's the obvious thing.
Yeah.
And the NFL is never obvious.
Yeah, of course.
Let's watch Allen go out there and shred. Let's watch Kelvin Benjamin, who's done nothing, get like 150 yards and 2 scores this week, right?
That'd be a fun game to watch. If he does blow up, this would be a fun game to watch him blow up. Both of them.
Yeah, and speaking of, did we say LaShawn McCoy? We didn't even mention LaShawn McCoy in Buffalo. Mixed reports, cracked ribs or not cracked ribs. He hurt his ribs. LaShawn McCoy every year gets hurt. Also on a putrid offense.
Yeah.
What are you doing if you have LaShawn McCoy? You don't have LaShawn McCoy.
I don't because I wanted to stay away from him, but I wouldn't play him this week even if he did start.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You have him?
I have him. I'm sitting him this week for sure.
Yep. Agreed.
And it's the Vikings too. I'm sitting him this week.
Yep. Agreed. Sit him.
Marcus Mariota. Hope you don't have him. Now, I mean,
No.
if you're in a 1 QB league, you don't have Mariota. But if you're in a super flex league, you might have Mariota. And you got a problem on your hands because Mariota is not playing.
Got an elbow.
He's having
elbow injury. He couldn't grip the ball properly in pregame warm-ups, apparently.
You know,
that is not a good sign.
If you're a quarterback, gripping the ball seems to be of utmost importance.
Yeah, a little bit.
And you can't do that. That's not good.
No.
Titans don't look good.
Poor Tennessee, Blaine Gabbert and all their issues. That's a shame.
It's gonna be a lot of Blaine Gabbert this year. It might be more Blaine Gabbert than you ever wanted in Tennessee this year.
Nobody wants Blaine Gabbert. Gross. Sorry, Mr. Gabbert.
Poor Blaine Gabbert. Somebody wants you, Blaine.
Not me.
Somebody maybe not in fantasy football wants you, but somebody wants you, Blaine. Yeah. How about this for an injury? Again, for the second straight year, Greg Zuerlein.
A groin injury during warm-ups.
But not only that, so he didn't go, he wasn't out before the game started. So he's in your lineup, and you find out in the first quarter when they're going for it on their first touchdown for a 2-point conversion, you find out that Zuerlein's out.
Do you have him?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't do anything about that. That's bad luck. That's
bad
fantasy
you know
luck.
What? We've talked about luck versus skill in fantasy football.
That's bad luck.
That's bad luck. Ain't nothing you can do about that.
Right, you can't do anything about
Nothing you can do about that. That's bad luck. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Are you holding Zuerlein? Here's a good question. Would you IR him, or are you just dropping him?
If you don't have anyone on IR, maybe put him on IR unless you have someone really worth holding. If you have an IR spot.
I totally agree with that. I think that's the move.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I like Zuerlein. I have him in a 14-team league. I'm not dropping him in a 14-team league. I know that sounds crazy to say I'm not dropping a kicker. I'm not dropping a kicker in a 14-team league because there's not much there.
I like kickers. I know they always say, pick defenses and kickers very last, but I'll pick a kicker before a defense and before a player that you don't know what they're going to do. I'll pick a kicker before any of those.
The thing with a kicker is that he's your guy for the year.
Right.
You're not most people don't stream kickers. If you stream kickers, it's a bad idea because kickers, you don't know when they're going to go off. There's a lot of luck in kickers. There's no doubt about it. But if you get Zuerlein, if you get Tucker, you're not replacing the guy.
Right. So
you might as well, you're right. I agree with you. You just go get him a little earlier. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing. It's nice. It's a little security blanket if you're playing in a league with a kicker. A lot of teams now, a lot of leagues now are not playing with kickers.
I don't agree with that. I like kickers.
Well, I don't dislike the luck factor in fantasy. I don't mind it. We talk about it with skill versus luck, but I do like the fact that there is luck. I do live in Vegas after all, right? So I do like gambling. So this is part of it.
Right.
I have Zuerlein. I'm holding him if I can. I think there's one league I have too many IR spots. I have to drop him. But in the 14-team league, I'm holding him.
Yeah. Agreed.
And another piece of news this week, and this is interesting because Jamal Williams has not been great. Aaron Jones is back.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because Jamal Williams has been horrible.
He's
PPR, 4 points first week, 9 points second week.
Not good. Oof. No. And now you have Jamal Williams at all?
No.
You're lucky.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He was a value running back. I have Aaron Jones in a few leagues too. I think Aaron Jones will start becoming the guy, but Aaron Jones has shown he's not been reliable. And he gets hurt, and there's issues there.
Stash him on your bench until he starts to do something.
Agreed.
That's the only thing you can do with these players because you don't really know what's going to happen. That's what you got to do.
And if somebody makes you an offer for Jamal Williams.
I don't think anybody's making you an offer for Jamal Williams. I mean, I know I ain't.
It's time for the segment all of America is talking about. Start or sit.
It's Wednesday night. Who should you choose? Make the right choice so you win, not lose. Start or sit. Start or sit. Start or sit. Yeah, we nailed that.
Nice. Very nice.
We got some good ones today on Start or Sit.
Who's your first one?
All right, we have Emmanuel Sanders or Lamar Miller.
So we're just talking about a flex position where it's a running back or a wide receiver. Now, I have a lead. This is a personal choice. And most of the starter sets that we're coming up with are ones that we just have in our teams because I don't know what you're dealing with, but I'm just coming up with what I've got on my team. I've got a situation where it's Lamar Miller or Emmanuel Sanders. Lamar Miller against the Giants, who don't look good. Emmanuel Sanders versus Baltimore.
On the road.
It's very matchup based. That one's going to agonize for me.
That's a hard one.
It is.
Is it a full point PPR?
Half point PPR. Yahoo Pro League. What would you do?
I think I would do Sanders. Honestly, get a coin and flip it.
I agree. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm literally probably going to wait till Friday or Saturday before I make the decision. I mean, Baltimore's defense is not great. And the Giants defense is really bad. But Lamar Miller's not catching the ball. He's strictly running the ball. So in a PPR league or a half PPR league, his upside's capped. He needs touchdowns in order to really produce.
But if Houston is throwing a lot and they're up in the game, they're going to be passing it off to Miller.
They might be.
Kill some clock.
Yeah. Not like Houston looks great either, though.
They look better than the Giants.
No,
sorry,
Giants
Kenny.
No kidding. Giants look terrible.
That's a coin flip for me.
I agree.
I'm slightly Sanders over Miller.
I'm slightly Sanders over Miller, too.
Like 55-45.
Yeah, slightly.
Rough one.
It's hard to sit Sanders right now. Sanders has been really good. He didn't do much in the first half this week, but second half he was great. And he's clearly Case Keenum's favorite target.
Yeah.
Clearly over Demaryius Thomas.
Makes me so sad.
Yeah. What's your other one?
Hogan or Lewis?
Chris Hogan?
Or Dion Lewis?
I
mean, Dion Lewis is going to be splitting carries, obviously, with Henry. But I have more faith in Brady than Gabbert. That kind of when it comes down to me. I think I'm leaning more towards Hogan. What about you?
Hogan got 5 targets. If he didn't score those 2 touchdowns, that would have been a bust.
Because he was a bust week 1,
Was a bust. But they're playing Detroit, who's a sieve defensively. They're awful.
Right.
Lewis was great in week 1, bad in week 2. They're up against Jacksonville. James White produced this week against Jacksonville. It would lead me to believe Lewis is going to produce. I also think Tennessee is going to be playing from behind. Jacksonville's good. I'm probably going Dion Lewis in this situation over Hogan. Ask me again on Friday.
I'm going Hogan.
Yeah, you go Hogan. I'm going Lewis, though. I like Dion Lewis a lot. And if they're playing from behind, I'm sure that Dion Lewis is going to get the ball.
We have. So today I posted on Facebook.
Oh.
If you guys follow me or Kenny on Facebook, I think what we're going to start doing every week now is doing start or sit questions on Facebook. And my friend Steve Reed, who I used to work with at the Rio, he has a start sit question for us.
All right, what do you got?
Brady or Mahomes?
Brady's against Detroit. Mahomes is against San Francisco. Am I right?
Yes.
They're playing the 49ers?
Mahomes has a better matchup. Brady also has a good matchup, but Mahomes is a little bit better. Going forward for the next couple weeks, I would say Brady. Maybe for this week, Mahomes.
I can't, it's amazing how fantasy football is that we even have a question like this. Like, how do you sit Tom Brady?
I know. I was so thinking that when I saw that from Steve. I was like, I don't even know. But you can't. Mahomes is playing so good.
So Brett Rigby, who is a country singer in this time, plays in one of my leagues here. And he had a question regarding Brady. And do you sit him? I can't remember who his other guy was. And I said to him, it really comes down to what can you live with personally? Can you live with Tom Brady on your bench and he goes off? And you think to yourself, oh my God, I sat Tom Brady and I lost. Right? Can you live with yourself? That being said, Mahomes.
It's not a bad.
Yeah, I think now, especially this year, the way this year is starting, and especially with quarterbacks, I think you got to remove the name and the pedigree from the decision. Yes, it's Tom Brady. But Patrick Mahomes has 10 touchdowns in two games. And he's playing an awful defense in the San Francisco 49ers. And they love to throw the ball. Yeah, I have no problem playing Mahomes.
Consensus? Mahomes.
Yeah. If you can sit Brady. Now, look, Brady's against Detroit. Detroit stinks too.
Right.
You're not losing, Steve, either way.
Yes.
I really don't think you're losing in any situation. I don't think there's any real wrong answer here. I say flip a coin. If you can sit Brady and feel good about it, play Mahomes. Mahomes is hot. Mahomes looks really good for fantasy. San Francisco stinks defensively. There should be a lot of points in the 49er Chief game this week.
Yeah.
So play Mahomes, and feel good about it. Go Mahomes.
Yep.
Right? And Brady, Brady has not been great for fantasy so far. He will be. Who knows? Maybe he throws 2 80-yard touchdown passes to Josh Gordon this week. Who knows?
Hope so.
Yeah, and maybe Gronk can return it for him. I sure hope that happens.
Me too. Yeah, Gronk will be fine.
Gronk should be fine. Yeah, I know. I'm not worried about it. I'm just being petulant.
Of course, you always are with Gronk.
I'm petulant in fantasy. This is my most petulant time of year. Absolutely, frustration abound. And you got another one. We were just talking about Kenny Golladay before.
Kenny Golladay or Demaryius Thomas.
That's a good one.
That is a very good one. That's
your league. What are you leaning toward? You're against me this week, so you don't have to tell. I mean, you can lie to me right to my face.
Thomas, he just did not look great last week. He was dropping passes all over the place. And you know me, I love Kenny Golladay. I think I'm going for Golladay. I'm going to take a chance. Are you not going to say anything?
No, I'm not. It's your team. You do what you want. I brought it up to you because I looked at your roster and I was like, that, you should consider this.
Yeah.
And your team is Golladay in. I don't know how you have Golladay in and Golladay sits on your bench.
What's your record in that league, Kenny?
1-1.
Okay.
I beat Isaac this week.
Okay.
Barely. My team stinks. And you know why my team stinks? That's my Leonard Fournette first-round pick team. And my wide receivers in that league are terrible. And this is now a wide receiver league.
I thought this was the New York league we're talking
No,
about.
that's the Golladay league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the New York league I'm 1-1 too. I had the third best point score in the New York league this week, and I lost because I was playing the Chiefs.
You lost by 1 point.
No. I lost by.
No. Didn't? No, that was somebody else. Never mind.
That was another league. No. I lost by a significant margin, but I was still third highest points in the league. I'm not complaining.
Did you go against Mahomes in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm like that league. I shrug my shoulders. I move on.
I know.
I have a good team. You lose. I score third highest. I score 125 and lose. What are you gonna do?
That's exactly.
That's fantasy. And when that happens in fantasy, and if you're scoring, you just got to be patient. Stay the course. I mean, I've seen teams that have horrible luck all year. Hopefully that won't happen. I had a team that didn't make the playoffs where I had like the second highest scoring point total in that league a couple years ago, and it didn't work out.
Well, the good thing is those points go to your score. So in the end, those points are still going to help you.
If you're in a tiebreaker,
right,
and you're 7-6, and you're at the end of the year, those points come in real handy. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for our weekly fantasy football burial. But here's the thing.
Wait, there's a fantasy football burial this week?
Yeah, there's a burial. Absolutely.
Who, Kenny?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, here lies the fantasy future 2018 of Jordy Nelson.
Wait, Jordy Nelson?
Yes, Jordy Nelson.
That's weird. But
he's not injured. He's just old. And he's on the Raiders.
The music's getting scarier and scarier.
You would too if you were on the Raiders. Jordy Nelson. We hardly knew ye. You didn't tear an ACL. You didn't tear an Achilles.
Yet.
But you might be dead in fantasy this year.
Doesn't look good for you.
I'm so sad. Rest your soul. Fantasy football. Jordy Nelson.
I have Jordy Nelson.
I have Jordy Nelson everywhere. Well, I don't know what to do. In a 10-team league, I'm dropping him. 12-team league, I don't know what to do. You holding on to him?
I played him both weeks. I mean, do you drop him or do you bench him?
Well, bench him for sure.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're actually going to drop him.
You're not starting Jordy Nelson. I mean, look, I just buried him, so I'm probably dropping him. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not starting him in a 12-team league. You're considering dropping him at this point. He's not involved. And here's the other thing. We could technically resurrect the fantasy football career of Amari Cooper because he went off this week.
Yeah, he did.
He sure did. After Gruden called out Carr for not throwing Cooper the ball.
Look what happened.
He threw Cooper the ball, and Cooper produced.
I'm glad for Cooper. I don't have Cooper. I know I was high on Cooper, and a couple episodes back, I picked him.
Here's what you do with Jordy Nelson. And we were kidding, obviously, about the burial. And look, I love Jordy Nelson. He's one of my favorite all-time players in fantasy. I've been playing for how many years? And he's one of those guys I've always loved owning. He's just been one of these just consistent producers. And, he got hurt. He's getting old. He's got some issues. Now he's on a bad team. In a 12-team league, I say hold on to him for one more week. Don't play him. You're not starting him under any circumstances. But If you're in a lousy league and a guy like Keelan Cole is on waivers and you need to drop Nelson for Cole, you're dropping Nelson for Cole.
Do it.
Cole, did you see that catch that Cole made this week?
Yes.
Cole's a baller. Cole is a hell of a player this week. You know?
He's a beast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, they're not a great pass-happy offense, but with Fournette out, they might be passing the ball more. Cole, if Cole's out there. If Galladay's out there, it's not even a question. He's probably not out there.
No.
If D.D. Westbrook is out there, you're considering it. If Chris Godwin's out there, you're absolutely
Godwin over
If Antonio
Jordy
Callaway is out there for the Browns, you're considering it. Especially now that Gordon's not on the Browns anymore.
Right.
You have to consider it. In a 10-team league, I'd say cut bait.
Yep. Drop him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't drop him just yet.
All right.
It's only week 2, Kenny.
I know.
Drop him already?
I test. I'm looking at what I see.
Yeah.
Not involved in the offense, not getting separation, and 90 years old. And Cooper looked good.
Yay, Amari Cooper.
And there you go. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it for us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to miss you next week. Christina Shaw will be in the great state of Pennsylvania next week, rooting on her beloved Eagles.
I sure will. Go
and
Birds.
I will probably be here, and we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see if we have some guests, some alternatives. We can never really truly replace Christina Shaw, though.
Aw, thanks, Kenny.
And this is our edition. This is our 5th edition of Our Vegas Fantasy. Please check us out on Spotify. Rate us. Share us. Tell us to go F ourselves. I don't care, but pay attention to us.
And we're also on YouTube now.
And we're on YouTube now as well.
YouTube, Spotify.
And we're going to look at other venues other avenues, as they say, to get us out there. We've been recording at the Space here in Las Vegas. The Space is a great location on Cabaretta Court with a great live venue that Mark Shinnick has created. They have Monday's Dark here. They have a great podcasting room here. So we thank Mark and the Space. Want to thank also Ken Bolke for our engineering us. Woo! And for lipping me a few things that I'm forgetting, which is always very helpful, Ken. Thank you so much. My name's Kenny Davidsen.
And I'm Christina Shaw.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.